everybody. Happy Tuesday to my dragon family. Aurea here, coming to you live as I do every week and discussing some very interesting pieces from my work this week. And I will admit, we all go through different phases where we're energetic, we're got lots of stuff flowing, and then there's periods of integration where we literally feel like we're drained, we want to collapse, need a lot of rest, a deep, deep rest. And I'm at that place today where I'm trying to find my energy to just move through the day, knowing that I want to share and communicate some things that came over the weekend, but also knowing, I'm in one of those phases. I'm integrating a very deep process that the last 4 days has been, and we've got a powerhouse energy alignment today. So July 5th is a day when our system, our sun, aligns with Sirius, and this brings on a birthing place or birthing energy and an alignment of our full sun. So I feel like if you're feeling this, I feel like there's something big coming in, something big hitting. When we're so fully aligned with the birthing place of our cosmos, and that's another piece that I learned this week. I have known in all of my work, especially with that diagram in the book that I do, about how the energies have triangulated in to continually create through this universe into lower dimensional planes, and that at the 6th dimensional doorway there's Sirius, and then comes Orion, and then comes Earth plane, and the elementals and matter. But learned from a different source this week that science is actually coming around to comprehending and validating or verifying that this cosmos came through Sirius as a system. So when that's aligned, there's a lot of solar energy able to come through that doorway. And when we get blasted with that solar energy, that takes us up notches, it takes us up vibrationally, but it's also sometimes very hard for the energy, and especially the physical bodies, to integrate and have all of that come in. It can feel like it's wiping you out. So if you've got that going on, know that your soul is calling for that deep rest. You're needing to move through that in order for the body processes of the biological shifts that are happening for our ascension journey to begin in earnest, to let those shifts start to take place within your field. So interestingly, coming on today, I had sort of projected this week with live topic questions that I get from folks. I had one asking to talk about Celtic dragons, and I had another asking to really go into the Orion dragons and what that is, what those Orion wars were, why it's so deeply embedded. So I'm going to address those in later weeks, because what the process that I'm in and the process I just went through is really more what feels called to be shared. It's the energy I'm sitting in. And the two that joined me this morning, the Magenta dragon of the Pleiades and the Carnelian dragon of the Middle Earth and Deep Earth realms. This, actually moving all the way to the Deep Earth realms. And I'm just realizing now that the span of that from Deep Earth all the way out to the Pleiades is a big amount of energetic, almost sandwiching or feeling. And even realizing now that the color shirt that I was called to pull out of my closet this morning is like a blending of those two, this Carnelian and this Magenta, coming out in what feels like a vermilion color. So the energy is about that, and I'll just touch on the cards. The Carnelian dragon is about radiance. So life force, exuberance, dynamism, lifting up, getting that life force. Okay, so why do I feel so drained? Why do we feel drained when this life force is the elemental, the piece that's lifting and pulling us? Well, it's going to feel that after we dynamically integrate those energies. You can see and feel the glow coming off of him, of this solar radiance coming through. And so when we get that life force, when we get that renewed vitality, that's when we move into that dynamism and that dynamic state. And Magenta is about transparency, embrace, and soaring. So both of those are about where we come through after we've integrated this energy. And this Magenta is the high heart. It's the dragon chakra that is the high heart. And so when we move into that unconditional love space, and this is interesting too, because I'm realizing these two are present with what I want to talk about, what the dragons and the lions have to share today. And why am I bringing the lions in? Well, it's time for that bridging. The shifting is starting to happen. I'm feeling the bridge being made towards that conjunct of the baton passing between the Lyrans and the dragons on the larger scale. So I've talked about it for a couple of years now, of the process we're in, and the dragons actually handing off their responsibilities as the guardians of this grid, of this matrix, of this energetic components and the large grid that it is. Many of you are grid keepers, many of you have been aware of that, especially as dragons, and that about 2 years ago I started seeing the Lyrans start to show up to be that replacement, that they're sitting with the dragons and holding that place of passing the baton over and waiting until it's all in place to do so. But there have been certain posts out in the universe that have been passed on, that the baton has passed, the dragon's been freed up to leave. That's allowed a lot more dragons to come and assist humanity with its process of moving and clearing out in order to go across that ascension bridge into the quantum field, into 5D. So what I'm feeling now is finally transpiring and coming into place, and interesting that this is the day coming off of these 4 days that it's aligned to share and to get it out into the collective and get it out into all of the dragon families' intention set, into your heart set, to know, okay, this is the energy that's going on right now. So what I got to participate in was a 4-day Starlion journey. I did it through the White Lion Foundation and Linda Tucker and Winter Worsron's work down in South Africa with the White Lions, with the Timbati area and the Sao region, and where they have a heartland being built to have the White Lions come back in number, to come back and have their sacred pride lands, because they are the energy. They are like the kings. So if we had a king and queen energy of the lion or the Lyran realm, it would be the White Lions. They are the ones, and if you look at the sacred species all around the planet, the white buffalo, the white elephant, the white rhino, the white manatee, we've had white dolphins, we've had white whales show up, but the White Lions are the guardians that are taking over. They are holding the space for that quantum new earth realm. And so very interestingly, I've been called for about 2 years, feeling that come in, where I know that I need to go to that land. I was drawn to South Africa for the Black Dragon activation. That's when the pull of Africa really started showing me that I have work to do there energetically for completion, in order to hand off as one of the 12 of Mu, the larger dragon councils, being ready to hand off. So the White Lions have been calling. It's been an interesting feel to just have them coming into my sphere very, very gently. And 2 of them presented, 2 that are actually in spirit body. They've crossed over in the last several years, and they were very present with me the first day after the first morning. And as I look, it's 11:22. I've had magic numbers hitting me all week, or all weekend especially. But having a message come directly from 2 of the White Lions in spirit as I started this 4-day intensive, this 4-day gathering. And it was a lot about animal communication, about opening the heart and how you commune and get the messages. But the bigger part was the messages from them and other animal species in those lands. So here's this big heart opening. Here's the lions coming to present. They came in after the very first intention setting hello, when we hadn't even seen them in the wild yet. And so that to me was saying, we've been waiting for you. We are ready to initiate this transfer, initiate your movement into our energies, so that it's a completion of a circle and a spiral. So it was really beautiful, and what I want to share today is how the dragons and the lions are moving us into that unconditional loving space, and where as a collective, what humanity gets from that. How are we going to move forward into unconditionality? How are we going to move forward into that heart space of the quantum realm, and that harmonic when there's so much strife and pain on the earth? And the dragons have loved unconditionally. If you've been working with the dragons, you know the first thing you feel from them is that powerful, incredible, high heart, uplifting energy of embrace, where you just feel you can drop in, it's safe, you feel loved, you feel protected, you feel supported, and all of the work they do to help you release just, it's like, wow, pumps up the heart space, deep, deep heart opening. And they've been in the ethers. They've been not in the physical realm for us other than in mountains and trees, and showing, using those elemental formats to come through and connect with us. They show up in the clouds. They come through the stones. They're coming through in that way, but they're maintaining this vibration of, all right, we're here as your support, but we're not in the physical right now. We've had our time in the physical. We are coming close to bring you through into your next level up. You don't need to stay in the 3D physical. You need to bring that body up into engagement up here. The key to that is unconditional love. Well, the messaging that came through from the Lions was the same. It's really deep heart opening. It's also beautiful to know they are in the physical. They are in this physical plane. They are meant to hold that energy and birth it, because the birthing place, and I've talked about this before in the last couple of years, of the new energies, of the new earth, everything is coming out through the space of Africa, those heartlands, through that Rift Valley, through that Nilotic Meridian, through everything that is along that female black dragon's spine. But that is within. It's, I feel like it's the original golden mean. It's where time actually should be framed from. But this energy being born and based where the heartlands, as it keeps expanding and that pride keeps expanding, and their homelands, and returning Mother Earth to its natural habitats, allowing the animals to roam freely. That's the intention and the vision that's being held there. And so how do we support that? Because that's going to be the heartland of the world, actually, of where that energy is going to start. As far as returning to Mother Nature, getting Mother Nature birthed back into her higher octave. And so this dream that I had that I want to share during the work was very powerful and spoke directly to this aspect of unconditional love, and how do we translate it from Dragon, what we as Dragon family are working with, and what I'm now bridging to pass and know that the caretakers for the next realm, the whole Lyran, all the feline kingdoms, but the king and queen of that who are landing on Earth in physical are the White Lions. And having that be, all right, here's the heart connection, here's where we complete the spiral, complete the sphere, and this gets crossed over. So they are bringing this huge unconditional loving heart message as well. We have to expand into the heart. But this dream was about me being in a space where I was being watched by something that was hidden. It was a person, it was a man, it was a hidden energy, and it was perceived initially as predatory, because our fears rise up. We feel someone's watching me, they're hidden, they're secrets. That brings up our fears. That's our natural space that is holding us back as humanity. And when it was able to recognize that this energy, as they stepped out and revealed, was not a predation energy. Predators, lions have been predators, but it's not a predation energy. When you start communicating open-hearted, animal to animal, heart to heart, in that space of telepathic communion that we've talked about, I've talked about your telepathic communion body opening up. Well, as we move into that, the whole space of this dream was about recognizing that this being was communicating with me in an open-hearted telepathic way. Human fear drops us into a space of not being able to receive and connect with that. So where do we take this gift that the lions are bringing from this side, the dragons are bringing from this side, and our expansion is coming here? Well, how are we going to shift the collective? How are we going to shift humanity? It's by opening and using that heart space connection that we have with all of our dragons, that there's a community building that has it with the lions, and animal communication. That's the big message that they're putting out, is how to interact with Mother Nature and shift the balance of the relationship, that we are not the largest and the top of the chain here as humans, that we are engaged in returning to the Garden of Eden, returning to the original template that was like Lemurian, and holding the space for that to happen. Well, we can easily open to the guides, to the archangels, to the dragons, to whoever is in as a spirit guide for you, because you trust them. You feel that heart energy reciprocating back. But how is that going to change the world around you? Can you send and hold unconditional love for others around you? And I would challenge everyone that this is what we really need to see with clarity. That we can say, yes, I am unconditionally loving. Yes, I put that out to everyone. I hold my heart space and I just hold it. Well, are you holding it in a way that allows a true dropping of judgment, expectation, full acceptance of anything that's going on with anyone around you? Or is there still judgment? Is there still a wall? Is there still a I see you as negative, I see you as evil, I see you as dark. I'm making a judgment on you instead of being able to open that fullness of the heart communication. And this, I had notes about the whole dream, and there's something here that I feel like wanted to be directly connected. And it's making that energy circular, where when we open and say, you know what, I love you. And if you've known the Ho'oponopono practice, that's also an introduction into this. That is coming at us from all directions, but it's not just about those that are confronting us or that we've been challenged by. It's everyone around us, and holding that, I forgive you, I love you, please forgive me. We are one. It's the whole practice, and I know I'm not saying the 4 tenets of the Ho'oponopono right now, but it's I surrender, I forgive you, I embrace you, I release you, and I love you. And this, being able to do that with anyone in humanity, that's super challenging in this time, because we can feel the split, we can feel the division being created on a global scale by the agendas that be. So all of those beings, can we hold the space to love those that challenge us the most, whether it's political, economic, financial, whatever, educational, any arena where you feel like there's darkness or a lack of light or energies that are evil, or wherever on the scale of dark to light that you want to put it, if we maintain a judgment of that being negative, evil, dark, and not of a greater light that is still of God, to be able to sit and hold the space for that to be transformed by us just loving and embracing that, knowing that there's divine perfection in the role that they are playing in the world right now for it to come to completion, because somebody has to play that role. If duality is going to finally collapse and come into itself in a state of union, then that central pillar needs to be created, and those players come together, and all those roles have been necessary. And maybe that's the little inkling of perception that we need to be able to forgive, or just comprehend the energy patterns that are going on and why there are people in those roles. Why does evil exist if you look at that as evil? Why does darkness exist? Well, darkness exists to see the light, but there is also beauty and God within dark light, pure dark light. And holding the space of, all right, this needs to be allowed to become circular in an embrace. That we've had a lot of darkness within us compared to the beings of light that serve us as guides. The dragons, the archangels, whoever your guides are, the Lyrans, the Pleiades, all the star beings, that if they had judged and said we are not worthy of receiving their light and their love and their forgiveness and their ability to heal and transmute what we have within us that is needing to be healed, maybe we would have never got our wake-up call. Maybe we wouldn't be where we are on our path. So as we become the guides for those around us, as we move into higher vibration and match that 5th dimensional quantum field and become those guides for humanity, where do we find it within ourselves to recognize that these are just beings with shreds of trauma left inside? Choices from trauma-based childhood or injury from previous incarnational aspect that's still trying to balance and release itself. Maybe we're the one loving being that can embrace that, so that they actually feel something wanting them to shift, an offering or an opportunity. And it's not forcing it on them, but it's giving that choice or that choice point there for them to feel energetically. Whether you speak to them, whether they're on the other side of the world, it's a person you may never know, they're a large political figure, whatever. But when we hold the embrace and the recognition of who they be on the larger scale, this, I feel, is where the dragons and the lions and all beings that are within nature are trying to get us to communicate into a state of union. And I feel like I'm getting it from all sides in my journey right now. And I'm just realizing now that I forgot my microphone. So I apologize if the sound is low. And I don't know if I can even grab my headphones here and my microphone to put it in. I know I have my microphone, but do I have my connector here? Let me see. Ah, blessed be, I have it. Now that I'm nearly done with our chat today, but let's see if this assists for the end. When we have this gift coming from these higher level beings, it's time to bring it into the physical. And this is where it was showing me with the lions that as we are ready to transition that means we're at the final gates. We're constructing the bridge into the physical through these beings, all the feline kingdom and the lions, the kings and queens of the Lyran system, coming down into body as these white lions, showing us the way, showing us how to communicate with the animal kingdoms and bring that harmonic back. But it's not just about being able to open our hearts to the animals, because it's easy to love animals. It's easy to open your heart and feel a communication with them. But we start there, and I know that the bees have been working with all my animals in my household, but the bees coming in, holding that unified state of union way of living in harmony, in a hive, in a colony, in a community, that they're teaching us. All of nature is here to be our teachers, to show us, all right, this is what you need to remember of yourself. You know how to communicate from the heart. Pull that in. What messages do you receive for us? We can show you how to then turn that towards your human brothers and sisters, to find that embrace even in the hardest spaces, even in the places where you think, I can't possibly embrace that being. Let me show you how, because I can. And if the animals can, and they can find that embrace, then we can. And they're trying to be here to show us more in a physical, like they're bringing it in. Are they a higher octave? Are they living in a more spirit engaged body experience with Mother Nature? Yes, they are. So if they're the teachers like the Deep Earth and Middle Earth dragons that are holding slightly above our lowest density 3D framework, man, there are teachers and guides, and we're becoming the teachers and guides for the rest of humanity, and that it's now time to start bridging that and take those lessons, take what they are showing us in opening that heart and turn it towards our own species community. This is what I feel like was one of the biggest takeaways that I had this weekend, and felt really on my heart to share that with everybody. So hopefully that's resonating. I know that the energy, it's interesting to feel today that the energy of the dragons is present, but there's also like this whole community of nature beings, including the Lyrans and all the feline kingdom, sitting with us. And I know the white lions in particular are still in my field. So I can feel a dynamic shift almost in a greater collective. And hopefully you're feeling that today, with this greater aspect of who I be in this bridge, who you be in this bridge, and that your dragon self knows how to do this. As you come into emerge with self, these higher perspectives, these higher knowings, and the ability to carry them out, to live them through your, what is still a physical embodiment, it's available, it's there. And the whole journey with the dragons is about finding that communion with self, remembering those higher perspectives, remembering how to love in the same way you feel from the dragons. Even if you're not merged with your own dragon self yet, or your higher self, whatever aspect that is, that this is the journey, this is where we're going. And so just hoping that energy is what embeds for you today, because there's a beautiful alignment today, and we have actually more coming this week. Feels like we've had a powerful summer so far with the solstice and the energies that were lining up right before and after that. And now we have the 7-7. There is an activation with the Dragon Hearts on Thursday, the 7th. It's a completion piece of some other work that we've been doing. But if you feel big things happening that day, there's an alignment with that, and that's leading us into the piece that will come on the Lion's Gate, the 8-8, and what that signifies, because in higher astrology, that is definitely directly connected to the Star Lions, and what people have come to know about the Lion's Gate as an important portal. I feel like this year it's going to be even more powerful than in past years. So sending that energy to you this week, holding that space for you to take all the lessons that you've gotten from the dragons and reflect with, where can I open this to my brothers and sisters in humanity, whether they're in my physical life or they're on the stage, on the world stage, and having an effect, positive or negative, on what's happening here. Everything is about endgame. It's all being played out for a reason. And where do we find that space to embrace all of these players and go, okay, we're at the end of the game now. Let's complete this. Let's pull it into a space, and I'm going to hold my opening in my heart for you, because that's going to shift the dynamic to radically release the players that do not want to find the light within them. I feel like that's just a piece of the shift, and I don't even know why it got verbiaged that way, but that's what was coming through. So sending you beautiful energies for the week. I will see you next Tuesday and look forward to whatever discussion. I'd probably be wrapping up some of what happens on Thursday with the 7-7, but maybe we'll go into the Celtic Dragons or the Orion Dragons. It might be timely, and we'll see next Tuesday. So if you need assistance before then, if you don't have your dragon deck yet, to see and feel the power of these beautiful cards right in your own hands with their messages, I just got the brand new shipment. The new print run is done and in my hands, ready to ship. I had lots of orders waiting to ship out, which was exciting as the boxes arrived. And all of those tools are on the website, as are the links to do a discovery call if you're needing to figure out, what kind of a session or program should I do? Or maybe I just need to get a download of something. What do you think? Where am I headed? And that's what the mini dragon readings and the full sessions are for. So look for that on the Book Now button, gets you to the booking calendar to even learn about what all those options are, including the free discovery calls. So have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Whew. If you need rest, take it. All right. Bye for now.